Don't. I see you. But that was a joke, guys. My name is Dennis. I am Ricky's state team leader at the Diamond Group at EXP. I just wanted to chat with you for a minute about Ricky. And let me just say this. I'm OG ZTD. He's been my real estate coach since 2017 now. And I've got 2 jobs in Ricky's business. Job number 1, when people come over and they're working with us at EXP, it's my job to coach them. Job number 2, I'm his liaison to any agents in Tennessee that need him. And so if you ever need Ricky for anything, and I really mean anything, he and I have been on phone with agents at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday before. If you will get with me, I will get you with him. We'll take care of it, okay? But let me pull out my handy-dandy cheat sheet and brag on Ricky for a minute. So I called down to his office, and let me say a few things about him. So far this year, on top of coaching all 700 of us at EXP, on top of having 40,000 plus agents in the Zero to Diamond program, active agents coaching with us, and raising a family and putting up with me, he has managed to sell 53 deals so far this year, 28 million in production. He's got 13 deals pending as of yesterday. You sold something today? That boy may have sold something today. Who knows? 5 million pending, and we've got him on tour going all over the country preaching about Zero to Diamond. Can you believe that? Amazing guy, right? So, without further ado, let me bring up my friend and mentor, Ricky Carruth. Come on, brother.
What's up, Nashville? How we doing? Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people came from a long way. You guys didn't have to do that, number one. Listen, it's going to be really tough for me to do this today because all I'm thinking about the whole way up here right now, all I can think about is hot chicken. Hot chicken, hot chicken, hot chicken, hot chicken. I don't even know if I can talk. Now, I've never had this hot chicken that you guys talk about, but everybody's told me about it, so I can't wait to go there and sink my teeth in some hot chicken after this. Again, thank you guys. I do want to thank Carrie Ann for putting all this together, and also Dennis, who was just up here. So thank you so much for doing this. This is incredible. I've never been to the Titan Stadium, never been here. I'm coming back to watch a game now. I've been up here. But this is beautiful. And what I want to do, okay, I want to lay out the blueprint of how I built my business, okay, how I have the amount of business that Dennis just talked about and still be able to be right here with you guys. Okay, I want to talk about that because I want you guys to be able to visualize how to do this because all of you can do this, okay? I want to change your perspective. That's what I'm hoping for today. I change your perspective just a little bit on your business, on your life, on your career, okay? At the end, I will take a couple questions here from the stage, okay, before I go over here and take some pictures. All right, show of hands. How many people here love, and I mean really love, being a real estate agent? Okay. You have to, don't you? You have to love this business if you're going to be in this business. And you have to have fun. Okay? Having fun is what it's all about. It hurts my heart as I'm talking to agents all over the place, and they're frustrated. They're disappointed. They have high anxiety. They're worried. It hurts my heart because they're not having fun, and they're taking it home to their family, and they're with their family, and they're thinking about work, and they're thinking about all the things that might go wrong, haven't even went wrong yet. Just the fact that they might go wrong is affecting their life and their happiness. And I want you guys to understand that you have to have fun with this business. You have to have fun. It doesn't matter if deals are falling through. Have fun with that. Realize that you're getting future time back, that now you don't have to spend on that deal anymore, and you can go get 5 more deals with that time. You have to have fun. Did you guys see, who saw me? You know, you guys know I do live calls with other agents on YouTube. Did you guys watch me make live calls a couple weeks ago? It's the funniest video you're ever going to watch. You can tell in that video that I'm having fun, that this is what I was born to do. Talk to people and see what I can do to help people. I'm going to send this out to you guys right now. If you haven't seen this, text me at this number right now. You have to watch this video. I'm dead serious. It's the funniest video you're ever going to see. Text me at 251-312-8844. 251-312-8844. Put your information in. I'll send you that video. When you watch that video, you're going to walk away from that video and you're going to realize how fun this is. If you're the kind of person that doesn't enjoy making calls, number one, I don't know what else there is to do, number one, right? And it doesn't matter to me who you're calling. And it doesn't matter if people are mean to you. You'll see on the video, people hung up on me. What did I do? Called them right back, laughing. Why? Because I don't care. I'm having fun, and I have zero expectations. You guys have to start building your business and taking actions with zero expectations. Quit expecting things to happen. Quit trying to manipulate the situation into what you want it to be. Just let it happen. It's going to happen. Have you guys ever wondered why 90% of agents fail? Right? 100% of us have the same resources. We all have the same resources, the same hours in the day, access to the same trainings. We all have the same setup, the same platforms. But why are only 10% of agents who join get their license? Why are only 10% of those agents actually make it a career? And it blows my mind. Agents get in the business and say, I'm going to do this for 30 years, and they quit 6 months in. I don't care if it takes you 2 years to get to your first deal. You said you were going to do this for 30 years. You still got 28 more years to crush it. There was a guy on the live calls last night that I did. I do them every Tuesday. And he commented and said, I forget exactly what it was, but it boiled down to, I've been at this for 6 months. Do you think I should quit? I was like, are you kidding me? You got in this business with the intentions of making it a career, and you're going to give up? It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. People are lying. You are lying to yourself. That's why 90% of agents fail. Bottom line. You lie to yourself. Tony Robbins refers to it as self-sabotage. You are literally creating excuses in your head, and then you start to believe them. And I don't care what level you are, even on my level and people way above me. I'm definitely not on some high level. I'm right here with you guys, all right? I'm still showing properties. I'm still listing. I'm still going to appointments. I went to a closing yesterday. I wore a mask, and we signed the paperwork. I'm still right there in the trenches, right? So even where I am right now with building other business and doing what I'm doing, I still have problems with letting myself let my mind trick me into thinking certain things that hold me back. And we all do it to a certain level. But you got to recognize it. Recognize that you're the one holding yourself back. You got the same resources as the number one agent in Nashville. You got the same opportunities as the number one agent in whatever market that you're in. You got an opportunity to be much greater than those top agents. It's just a matter of you telling yourself you can do it and putting forth the correct business plan and committing. Now, Dennis shared with you my stats for the year. That was so nice of him. So I'm sitting here, look at my business. What he didn't tell you was, I'm a single agent. I have one assistant. I don't have buyer's agents, listings agents, and all this. All right? So think about it for a second. Closing 100 deals a year, which is what I've done for this will be the 8th year straight. Still have time to travel and speak. Still have time to post on every platform and answer all of your DMs. Still have time to build other businesses. Still have time to spend with my family, which, by the way, is, to me, the most important part of this whole puzzle. I'm sure you guys have seen my daughter on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. She's 21 months old, and literally that is all I want to do is hang out with her. Business is like so far down on my priority list right this second. I'm learning more and more and more every day that she gets older, right? But my point is, visualize what I'm doing, okay? And then I want to help you guys visualize how you can do the same thing. You can build your business to the point where you're closing the amount of volume you want to close, okay, without putting that much effort in, okay? How? 2 things. I work hard and smart. Some people will tell you, you don't got to work hard if you work smart. I say, why not work hard and smart? Now, what is hard and smart? Working hard means that you just never give up. Plain and simple. You just never give up no matter what. And I'm sure you guys realize that about me. I'm never going to stop. You're never going to stop seeing notifications on your phone. Ricky Carruth, Ricky Carruth, Ricky Carruth. Every day. Because I'm not going to stop. What does working smart means? It means this. Committing to a business model that is the most productive, efficient, and scalable. Committing to a business model that is the most productive, efficient, and scalable. Committing. Once you understand the business model, and we've committed there, now what? Now we work hard, which means we never stop. We don't care if it takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter to us. Because we know once we get there, number one, it's going to be sweet. And from that point, we're going to keep going because that's what working hard is all about. And everybody loves a hard worker. When you build your brand, so many people say, I'm working on my brand. What are you doing today? I'm working on my brand. Okay, tell me about that. What are you doing? I'm working on my logo colors. I'm building a logo. I'm getting the font just right. I'm working on some marketing. That's not brand. That's marketing. Your brand is who you are and letting as many people know who you are as a person as possible. Who am I? I'm just a hardworking guy from South Alabama. That's all I am. And I want as many people in the world to know that as possible. That's my brand. People know that I'm going to work hard. People trust me because of that. Think about it. I want to dive into working hard. I want to dive into working smart. I want to break those things down a little further. But before I want to give you a little bit of background so you understand how I arrived at this. Because, like I said, I want to give you the blueprint, and I want you guys to be able to visualize yourself in the next 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years being somewhere in the realm of where I am. And it's not just business, it's happiness. Some people say, you don't charge me for coaching. What do you want from me? What can I do to support you? I say, nothing. Just succeed and be happy. I knock off at 5 o'clock every day. I try not to work on the weekends as much as I can. I enjoy my life, and that's what it's all about. You guys got to start, you've got to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is what I want you to visualize today, okay? But you also have to understand that the light at the end of the tunnel is not just money. If it was money, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm not doing this for money. Nobody paid to come here. I'm not getting paid to be here. Every single one of you have everything it takes to be a $1 million a year real estate agent. You've got everything it takes. You care about people. You want the best. You're a hard worker. You're a professional. You're honest. You're dependable. You're consistent. You're everything that you need to be. The problem is you haven't put the work in and realized, here's the business model, and here's how I can work the most productive, efficient, and also scale that, right? And let as many people in the world know who you are. Have a good night. Okay, a little background, okay, because I want you to really understand how I arrived at this place, right, in terms of philosophy. I get in the business in 2002. I'm 20 years old. I'm roofing houses before that. I'm just running around like a wild Indian. I quit roofing that day and say, Dad, see ya. I'm a real estate agent now. 30 days later, after 0 sales, I'm back on the roof. Hey, Dad, I need a job. So I'm back on the roof. I'm roofing and doing real estate, which is really tough, by the way. You're not really answering your phone hanging by a rope on a roof. It took me 8 months to get to my first sale. Okay? And, well, I can't even lie about it. It was my grandmother's condo, okay? Wasn't like any kind of magic or anything. She literally, it expired. It was with another agent for a while. First listing was my grandmother's expired condo. By the way, can I get actually one small moment of silence for her? She actually died 1 year ago today. Thank you. I sold 2 properties that day. I got paid on that condo and another condo. So it wasn't like I just sold my grandmother's condo. I did have another one too. Closed on it the same day. All right? I'm still in my early 20s, okay? I'm trucking along. I'm selling 2 a month, 2 a month, 2 a month. And then all of a sudden, bam, the market explodes. Similar to what just happened in the market over the past year, let's say. Very similar. A lot of differences. That's a completely different speech, to be honest with you. But it exploded, and I made a lot of money. As someone in their early 20s that came from nothing, it was a lot of money. 7 figures worth of money. And the golden rule for me growing up is buy real estate. So what did I do? I bought real estate. But I didn't know there was a right way to buy real estate and a wrong way to buy real estate. And I over-leveraged on top of not understanding real estate because I got thrown into this imaginary market. Right? I couldn't imagine starting real estate over the past year and, being thrown into the market that we're going through, which, by the way, is it kind of cooling off a little bit? That's the consensus I feel nationally, is that it is losing a little steam. Still great. The market is always great. The market is always great. But I didn't know what I was doing. Never had money. Ended up losing everything in the crash. Went back to roofing houses. I'm like, hey, Dad, I come back. Remember me? And I roofed houses. I landed a job on an oil rig in Mississippi, not too far from here. Actually, my dad was out there with me too. We both went out there, and we worked there for a year, okay? 2008. So between 2005 and 2008, I sell 0 properties. I'm sleeping in my car. I'm sleeping on friends' couches. I'm eating out of people's refrigerators, okay? I'm bankrupt. I had to go bankrupt because of several reasons. So I'm sitting here at rock bottom financially. Meanwhile, I'm the happiest guy in the world. I'm going out every night, partying. I'm realizing that there's 40 and 50 and 60-year-old guys that are going through the same exact things that I was going through. There were guys that were 40, 50, 60 years old that were doing the same stuff I was doing right next to me, that lost everything and had to start over at that point in their life. And it happened to me at 25. And I thought, thank God. I don't have a family. I don't have bills. I don't have responsibilities. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to learn what I'm about to learn. I read 100 books during that time. This was the time where I really expanded in terms of personal growth, personal development. I don't read hardly as much as I did then. I was so thirsty for knowledge of why I failed. Why did I lose everything? I'm the hardest worker I know. I'm the most honest person I know. I'm the most dependable person that I know. Why did I fail and lose everything, and there's other guys out here still crushing it? I wanted to know the answers. So I was on this quest for knowledge. Somewhere in the mix, I'll give you guys the combination of events that happened that made me realize so many things, okay? And eventually led me back into the business, okay? And then the journey from there began because it was my second round of my career. In one of those books somewhere, coupled with the fact that I only had 2 bills when I was totally bankrupt. My cell phone, I never wanted to give my number up. I wanted to keep that number forever. And my MLS, license, my real estate fees. I kept my license active. So I still had access to MLS. I still had access to all the secret county record websites and stuff. So as I'm doing my research and reading and trying to figure everything out, I'm realizing that my clients that I sold to at the peak, they were still buying and selling stuff at the bottom when I was on the oil rig. You think that wasn't an eye-opening experience for me to realize that my clients were still buying and selling? Thinking, I should be their agent. But I'm on an oil rig. What am I doing out here? I don't know. There was a guy. I know a guy. In Gulf Shores, an agent. He sold 30 properties in 2006, which was one of our worst years. And he's the exact guy that helped me when I first started in the business, learn how to find property owners and learn everything. And in the beginning, when I was in the very beginning of my career, he said, postcards, phone calls, and emails. That's what he did. He was very successful. He was the number one in his company. He's still successful to this day. He showed me that. I took it and ran with it. I made all that money, lost it, realized he's still selling stuff. Years later, I go back to him and say, hey, man, tell me what's up. Give me the secret, bro. He says, come on over to the house. I'll tell you all about it. We sat down. I went over there. He cooked me dinner. He brought me in his office, sit down at his computer, and he gave me the secret, which was postcards, phone calls, and emails. He didn't do nothing different. Different messaging. Hey, the beaches are 50% off now. The sand still is white. The sun still is bright. Come on down. And he was selling a lot of properties. All that made me realize a lot of things. And I want to share these thoughts with you right now so you can understand this is the foundation of building a business, whereas you don't have to put forth as much effort. Once you build it, they will come. The first thing I realized when my clients were still buying properties at the bottom of the market, I then did further research and really looked through county records and really started to try to figure this thing out. And I realized something very interesting, hit me like a ton of bricks. I realize closings happen every day, forever, regardless of market conditions. Okay? Light bulb moment, right? If you go back to 2000, if you go back to the dot-com crash, 9/11, 2008, the pandemic, the worst, one of the scariest moments in the last 100 years, complete economic shutdown, never happened in our lifetimes, correct? Pretty scary. No human contact. Guess what? 80% of the same amount of closings were happening during that 45-day period from mid-April to May 1st. From mid-March to May 1st. 80% of the same closings that happened that same 45-day the year prior were happening last year during that complete shutdown. Does that not make you sit there and say, wow, I'm in an incredibly solid industry? What's even more scary is that 80% of the same amount of new pending deals. We can't even see people, but yet somehow miraculously, buyers are making offers, submitting to sellers, negotiating deals, ratifying contracts during that time. Does it not just make you take 1 second and say, wow? It does me. Now, I've been preaching this for years. I've been preaching what happened during that 45-day period for a long time. But to actually see it on the level that it happened, of course, guys, that was a short-lived 45-day period. What if we have a long crash? Same thing. Look at all the crashes. Go back in your MLS as far as you could go back. And find me a day that there was not a closing. Take those closings and multiply them by 2. Because there's a buyer and there's 2 opportunities for each of those closings for you to represent someone. You can't do all the business. You're lying to yourself saying the market's down, there's only so much, and what does that do? It prevents you from trying to reach out to more people to see what you can do to help them. When really, you need to be going more all in at that moment. That's when you really need to turn up the heat. When the market gets so scary, agents leave the business, that's when you need to go all in. Because at that point, it's like taking candy from a... Once you realize closings happen every day and you wrap your head around this, you start to realize that business is unlimited. $100 million %. You can't do every deal that's available to each and every one of you. You can't do it. You can't process it. You can't get to all the people. It'll never happen. If one entity or one person could do all the deals out there, I would have already figured it out and we would not even be here right now. So once you realize this, I'm just taking you through so you can understand the foundation here. When you get the foundation of these principles down, okay, and then we understand the business model behind it, how we can actually scale our business, then we can build that business of our dreams. Closings happen every day. Business is unlimited. Now what? Now you realize competition doesn't exist. You can actually be friends with each other without worrying about if they're going to steal your listing or your clients. If the client chooses the other agent, that's the client's decision. It wasn't because the agent went behind your back and did some weird stuff, even though they probably did. But it's still the client's decision of who they want to work with. And if they did do some squirrely stuff, still a client, and if the client's that gullible to fall for that, I don't want to work with him. I don't know if I want to work with that client anyway. You see what I'm saying? Competition doesn't exist. When you lose that listing, I've already said this, when you lose that listing to another agent, stop sulking, take the time that you would have sulked and use it to go get more business of people that actually will do a deal with you, Why are you going to sit around thinking about a deal that didn't happen? And you can't, what good's it going to do to think about a deal that didn't happen? Rule of 5. When you lose a deal, set your timer on your phone for 5 minutes to think about what went wrong, what could you have done better, sulk, cry, complain. When the buzzer goes off, never think about that deal ever again, and go get 5 more deals with the future time you just got back that you don't have to get the listing signed, put the lockbox on, set up the showings, deal with all the agents that didn't show up, send everybody information, get an offer, negotiate it. Well, we didn't get there. Second offer comes in, we negotiate it, we got there. Now we're dealing with title company, mortgage company, inspectors, appraisers. How many hours are you putting into the deal? You just got all that back. Now you can take all those hours and go get 5 more deals. You can actually take lost deals and multiply your business with lost deals. You guys need to go, where can I lose a deal? Where can I lose a deal? I need to lose a deal. I need to lose a deal. Because every lost deal is 5 deals in your pocket. If you think about it right, if you have the right perspective. This is how I think. I'm just giving you guys how I think, just a glimpse into how I view things, because every situation I can turn it around into a huge positive for me. Like when people hang up on me and I laugh and call them back. That's fun. Ma'am, I think we got disconnected there. In 2008, I got back in the business, and here's the biggest punchline. Of course, closings happen every day. Of course, business is unlimited. Of course, competition doesn't exist. Of course, we're past all that. But the biggest punchline for me, have a good night. The biggest punchline for me was the first half of my career, when I got caught up in all that money and all that stuff, I was so focused on the money. I was so focused on the deals, the closings. I wasn't worried about the people. I cared about people, but they didn't really care about me either, right? They weren't. It was a cold relationship. It was like, you can sell it, I can make $100,000, great. Here's the listing, boom. We'll negotiate it, bam. We close, bam. Never talk to them ever again. Go do it again and again and again. That's how the market was at the time. You didn't have to start relationships during that 2-year window, but that's the market I got thrown into as a new agent, so I didn't know any different. When I realized my clients were still buying at the bottom, I realized, wait a minute, it's not about the deals. If I would have maintained the relationships with those clients, I would have been representing them at the bottom. And they were buying a lot of property. They sold all their bad assets, and they bought all these really cheap assets. I could have represented them selling and buying millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff. But I didn't know all the stuff that I'm sharing with you right now. If you guys can just grasp what I'm saying, I didn't have a Ricky Carruth telling me all this stuff. You guys are especially guys that are 3 months in the business. Hearing this stuff is gold, because I wish that I had somebody telling me this stuff when I started out. You're light years ahead. You guys are going to be far bigger than me. Far, 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 far bigger than me. So I got back in the real estate in 2008. I got laid off from the oil rig, and I started to build my business on people. People. And what happened was, the conversations I was having with prospects at that time, totally different. I could tell that they saw that I cared about them. I could feel that they kind of accepted me as an extended part of their family. I could tell, and they could tell that I was talking to them like they were my mom, dad, brother, cousin, best friend from high school. We weren't talking about closing deals. We were talking about their family. We were talking about what's best for them, what they want to do. Not what I want them to do, or not if they'll do this or if they'll do that. What can I help you do? If not now, later. And I understood at that point that building a business on people, because listen, guys, I was never going to be at the point where I lose everything ever again. I'm the kind of person that once you show me or tell me something one time, you don't have to tell me again. That's it. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. When my dad showed me how to lay shingles, he showed me one time. When people showed me how to do football drills or whatever I did, once. I just need to see it once. And then I'm going to commit to that business model, right? Same thing, business model. The conversations were totally different, and I knew that I was on to something. Think about this. From 2010, we had the BP oil spill. The BP oil spill in my area was a mini recession. Prices went way down for a second. Agents were leaving the area. They were moving to Birmingham and Nashville. Any of you guys came here from Gulf Shores from the oil spill? During that time of the BP oil spill, I was like, this is my opportunity to test what I learned, what I thought I learned in a little recession. And we didn't know how big the recession was going to be. It could have been massive. But I kept my cool, and I said, I'm going to do what I think works when markets do weird things. And I'm going to test this thing out. 2008, my first year back in the business, made $80,000, which was twice what I made on the oil rig. Happy as hell. Happy as hell. The next year I did $100,000. That was 2009. 2010 was the BP oil spill. I made $150,000. I made 50% more money in a year that was really a scary, scary year. All the agents in the office were freaking out, and I remember sitting back and saying, listen, guys, relax. Stay calm. Call your clients. See what they need. See what they want to do, right? When a market crashes, when a market does something very drastic, there's one of three things that property owners can do. And you need to call every single property owner in your market and ask them which of these three things they want to do. They either are going to want to buy because things are getting cheap and they have a lot of money. They're going to have to sell because they're in trouble. Or they're going to hold and they're just going to ride it out. They're scared. They want to stay put. They don't want to do anything. We'll see how this thing plays out. That's only three options. Call every single property owner when the market does anything drastic. Go through your database first and say, hey, how you doing? You want to buy, start, or hold during this time? You doing okay? Everything cool? Which way you want to go with this? Are you going to be looking to buy if things really get bad? Or are you going to be in trouble? You're going to need to sell? What can I do to help you through this? By 2014, I closed 100 deals in 2014. That was the first year I hit that. I was the number one RE/MAX agent in Alabama several years after that. So look at the timeline. 2002, I get in, make a mill, lose it. Come back in 2008. After everything that I just shared with you guys, I learned all that. It still took me from 2008 to 2014 to get to 100 deals. 6 years of grind, 15-hour days, totally focused on real estate. No coaching, no writing, no social media, nothing. Calls, emails, meetings, showings, listings. 6 years after I learned a lot about the business and how to build the business. Still 6 years to get to that point I wanted to get to. I just want you to really visualize that timeline. A lot of people get in the business and they're 3 or 4 years in, they hadn't hit what they want to hit. After I learned everything, it still took me 6 years. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. It can. I had a guy that sold 100 properties in his first year. I've had several people sell 50 plus properties in their first year. It can happen. Is it likely? No. In 2017, I wrote the 2 books. They took off. Through all that, I eventually became the world's first completely free coach. And I've been traveling and speaking and doing social media and all that good stuff. And in 2017, I want to run through this scenario with you really quickly, just so you understand how I do all these things. And then I want to talk about hard work, smart work. In 2017, when I started writing and coaching, okay, understand at that point, I'd built my business to the level that I wanted. Totally focused on my business. Too many people are trying to do too many things before they get where they really need to be. Maybe I'm a little extreme. Maybe I shouldn't have waited so long to do certain things, but that's how I am. I'm very conservative. I'm going to make sure. 2017 was the year I stopped building my real estate business and started focusing on helping agents. Meanwhile, still closing 100 deals every year. This will be year number 8. The way that I did this is because of my business model, right? So let's talk about working smart. Working smart is adapting a business model that is the most productive, efficient, and scalable. Okay? So if you think about, like, the way that I, put together, over time, okay, it took me so long to figure all this stuff out on my own. But basically it goes like this. If you have your choice, okay, of any kind of lead generation source that there is, there's so many different types of lead generation sources, okay? What's the one thing that those lead generation sources always come back to? What's the one action? What's the one activity that all of them, here's all the lead generation sources, and then boop, here's this one activity in the middle that all of them come back to? It's not necessarily phone per se, right? But it's a real life conversation. The common denominator of all closings. I had one closing out of my 1,000 or so closings where I didn't actually talk to the person. It was all through email. They were out of the country, whatever. The common denominator of all closings is a real live conversation. It doesn't matter where your leads come from. It's all going to come right back to actually talking to people. So for me, right, if that's the key, if that's the gatekeeper of closings, okay, and I have my option of the lead generation source that I want, why wouldn't I, if I can pick up property owners for 2 cents a piece and call them and just go ahead and have these conversations at scale with the exact people I want to do business with, why would I choose anything else? Let me ask you this. If anyone in this room had the opportunity to do business with me, okay, would you? Raise your hand. Everybody, I would say. Would anybody not do business with me? Now, raise your hand if I've ever charged you a dime for anything. No one. That's pretty powerful. To be sitting in a room full of people who say, every single one of them says, I would love to do business with you. If I had the opportunity to do business with you, I would. But yet have never charged any of you a dime. This comes back to my process of working smart. For me, is putting myself in a situation where, let's just call it, I'm working for free. You guys need to think of yourself, okay? Think of yourself as a politician, whoever your favorite one is. And you want to canvass the market to let every person know in your market who you are, what you do, and that you're here to help. Think of yourself as a volunteer worker, just doing community outreach to as many people in the community as possible, letting them know what you do, what your services are. I help people buy and sell real estate. What can I do to help you? NAR did a survey. They asked whatever, a lot of people. And it was that the number one reason why people choose a real estate agent, okay, overwhelmingly, number one reason, 31% was based on the agent's reputation and that they were friends with. If you ask someone at the end of the deal how they picked their real estate agent, the most common answer is going to be, I had a friend in the business. So think about that for a second. If that's how people choose their agents, then our number one objective every day is not to get a listing appointment, ladies and gentlemen. It's to create friends in the market. Our number one objective every day needs to be, how many friends can I create in the market today? How many people can I let know who I am, what I do, and that I'm here to help? I'm a hard worker. I'm dependable. I'm honest. How many people can I get that out to today? And it's all going to come back to a real live conversation, because that's how they're going to really feel it. You can only get so much feel out of a Facebook ad or something written. Video's good. You hear them, but they're still not talking to you, and you're not going back and forth, and there's something about the real life conversation that takes everything to the next level. And what we're doing is we're lying to ourselves, saying we can do the business all these other ways just to come right back to the same thing. But now because you lied to yourself, you're not doing it at the scale that you need to get your business where you want it to go. Forget about all that stuff. Go all in with talking to as many property owners in your market as possible. I'm going to get more into it. But it doesn't matter to me, right, if they buy or sell or not. That's not what I'm looking for. If they do, great. Are you working with someone already? I'd love to work with you. What can you do? What do you want to do? How you want to do it? But even if they're not ready, I still want to create and maintain that relationship forever, because they will buy or sell. Every relationship that you put in place with someone, regardless if they buy or sell or not, is worth 10 to 20 deals to you over the life of your career. Through repeat, referral, and referral of referral. The people that refer to you, that get referred to you, they start referring you people too. And they start giving you repeat business too. I mean, really, when you start thinking about it like that, like every relationship really is worth like 100 deals. Because it's the trickle down. Talking about business model and the fact that everyone here in the room would do business with me if they could, but I've never really asked you for anything. You need to think about how I did that, and you need to try to emulate that in your local market as a real estate agent. How can I bring so much value to the people in my market that they're dying to do business with me, even though I've never asked them to buy or sell anything? Conversation, great first impression, personal brand. I'm going to ask you guys this, because I ask all my audiences, so you guys know what's coming probably. And then I want to talk about scaling our business. If you guys can tell me a better strategy, please speak up. Then instead of all the other lead generation sources there are, okay, why not get the exact property owners you want to do business with, contact information for 2 cents, call them up just to make friends, followed by a weekly email on the same day of the week forever. If anyone could tell me something that's more productive, effective, cost efficient, and scalable, please tell me. Because I'll start talking about that in my speeches and stuff. Seriously? I can't get nobody to even debate. So my question is, out of the 400 people here, not a single one of you can tell me a better strategy than this. Why not go all in on this? Does this not make you think, man, nobody can even come up with things? Where's my social media warriors at? You can build it on social media. Yes, you can. And I think you should do social media. Why aren't you guys doing this? Is my question. Let's scale our business. Now that we understand were you raising your hand? No, I didn't think so. I'm thinking about hot chicken. When we talk about scaling our business, okay, the business model is this. Calling property owners. Listen, go meet them, door knock. I don't care what you do. Talk to property owners. Get Zillow leads. I don't care. Talk to property owners. I don't care where you get them from. Talk to them. Build friends with them. Follow up with a weekly email to your entire database every week on the same day of the week forever. You're done. Scale. So the business model is great first impression. Let them know that you're not here trying to pull anything on. You're not like a regular agent. You're trying to see what you can do to help them. Bring them some value. Let them know you're here and would love to stay in touch. Great first impression. They're like, wow, this person's different. They didn't try to ask me to buy or sell. They're here to help me. I feel this person's a little different. I'm going to keep up with this person. Next thing you know, they start getting emails from you. And then they start getting email that next week, and then that next week, and that next week. And then they start to realize every time they get that email, that great first impression comes right back into their mind. And that great first impression never leaves. And they continue to get this email until the day they decide they want to buy or sell. And who are they going to call? So the business model is great first impression. Bring value, 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 value. Don't try to sell them. Realize that the less you try to sell, the bigger your database is going to be. Write that one down. The less you try to sell, the bigger your database will be. Why do you think you guys are here today? If I was charging for coaching, we would not be here. None of you guys would know who I was. The less you sell, the larger your database is, which means what? The larger your database is, the larger your income is. The larger your database is, the larger your personal brand is. You want a large personal brand? Quit trying to sell everybody. Just have a real conversation and ask them what you can do to help. Great first impression. Personal brand. Bring value, 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 value. Now, how do we scale that? It's hard to talk to every single person in your market. You accumulate these relationships, and the weekly email is the mechanism that scales your business and builds that personal brand for you. Yes, do social media on top of it. The weekly email should be the foundation. Why? 90% organic reach. Social media, 1, 2, 3, 4% organic reach. Make the weekly email the foundation of your personal brand, and then sprinkle the social media on top. Post every day. Put out content every day. Make videos every day, yes. But do the weekly email every week on the same day of the week. That's how you scale your business. And you may think to yourself, it can't be that simple. But that's you lying to yourself again. It really is this simple. All right? So, how am I doing all these deals and still traveling and stuff? Because in 2017, I've been doing the weekly email since 2007. I have 15,000 people there. I have 23 to 27% open rates, which don't matter. That's only a part of the puzzle. What's even more interesting is the other 25% who aren't opening it but see it in their inbox every week and think, I'm not ready, but when I am, he's going to be my guy, but they're not opening the email. 2 years later, that person opens it up 3 weeks in a row and then calls me on the 4th week and says, Ricky, I'm ready to sell this and buy that. I provide so much value in my email. Agents used to say, why are you sending everybody the closed sales? Don't you want them to have to call you for that information? I was like, no. I want them to call me when they get ready to buy or sell something, not when they want to know what something's sold for. Right? Efficiency. Right? By providing value, I knocked off a phone call that might have happened. Now I'm getting less phone calls and more quality phone calls. People ready to do stuff. Why? Because I'm providing more value. So this is how you scale, guys, is by accumulating these great first impressions, putting them in your database, and doing this weekly email. By 2017, I probably had in the neighborhood of 12,000 or so people in that database, and that was the first year hit 1 million in GCI, and I decided to start writing books. I said, I actually have something here. I think I have something that people could use and really help them. So I feel a calling here to help others with what I've learned, which is very unique to the market. Because most coaches, they're going to tell you to go, hey, you want to sell? You want to sell your house today? Right? No? Well, do you know anybody that might possibly want to? Do you know anybody? Get out of here, man. It's so backwards. That script actually puts you in a position where the prospect realizes that you're just there for you. Understand this. Those scripts, the mainstream coaching scripts, tell the prospect, you as the agent are just there for you. Hey, Mr. Seller, you don't know me, I don't know you, but will you sell your house so I can make some money? No? Well, cool, man. Well, you know anybody else that might want to sell, man? Maybe make me some money. Right? I want to 180 that. Let's call and what's really sad is that agents who really care about their prospects are using those scripts because that's the mainstream training scripts, and it's not lining up who they are as a person with how they're communicating. Their communication is telling the prospect they're a totally different person than who they really are. They are a hardworking, honest, dependable person who cares about who cares about their clients and people, but the script is telling the prospect a totally opposite interpretation. We got to get away from that, and we got to move towards who we are as people. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I want to help you. What do you got going on? What can I help you with? I want to 180 that from what can the prospect do for the agent to what can the agent do for the prospect. Are you guys feeling this? Make some noise if you're feeling this. Yeah. So that's working smart, guys, is providing value, understanding the business model that we can scale by using a weekly email and some social media, and we can build our personal brands to the point where where I stand right now, I spend a good 5 hours a week on my real estate business. Meanwhile, building other businesses, traveling and speaking, helping other agents. You guys can do the same thing. It's not hard. You just have to put in the work. Okay? Working hard means you never give up. All right? And a lot of people, they want to look like they're busy. They want to look like they're working, but they're not working. They're not really working when nobody's looking. You got to really, really, really want this, and you got to be willing to fully commit until the job's done. Once you build it up to the certain point that you want, the income level that you want, then you can live off that weekly email. That's the punchline here. So many agents come in, they get up to 150, and then you'll see them. The next year, 150. The next year, 150. The next year, 150. And you wonder why. And they wonder why. And the reason is they got in the business, they hustled, and they built their database up to the point where they were making 150. Then they quit building their database, thinking that they don't have to build the database anymore, and everything's just on the up and up. But that database, once you stop growing it, all it does is maintain your level of income at wherever you stop growing it at. And your income level plateaus from there on out. I've seen it time after time after time again. And I'm a prime example. I built my database up to the million, and then I quit building it. Boom, million. It's simple math, guys. It's simple math. Build your database up to that point, and then what? You guys we gonna get up here? Come on up here, guys. Hey, give it up for them. All right, never mind. All right. For me, from 2002 to 2017, even through the oil rig and everything, I was still doing real estate because I was still trying to figure it out. I was putting in 15 hours a day to get to the point where, now you guys can do what I did in a matter of 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years. During that 15-year period, I dialed 100,000 numbers hand dialing. There was no automatic dialers. There was no hit a button and get all this data. I had to copy and paste addresses into White Pages, Spokio, Bigfoot.com, and then dial them by hand. You guys can just click a mouse and find thousands of people's data, and then click another button and call them automatically like a machine gun? This is like far out stuff for me. The opportunities that you guys have, you can call 100,000 numbers within a matter of years. Now, not 15 that it took me to do hand dialing. You guys can be where I'm at in just a few years if you wanted to. And you adopt the business model of creating great first impressions, bringing value, and doing a weekly email. Daily routine. This is when I visualize a real estate agent's daily routine, here it is. To me, this is it. At 8 o'clock, I'm going to organize my day. 8:30, I'm figuring out who I'm calling. 9 o'clock, I'm on the phone. Till 12. I get Zillow leads. I do Facebook ads. I do everything else but cold calling. You better be, whatever you're doing, you better be getting enough numbers to call from 9 to 12 every day. I don't care where you get the numbers from. You better be having the conversations. Conversations the key to all closings, right? Does anybody disagree? If that's the case, then in order to have as many closings as we can possibly have, we have to have as many conversations as we can possibly have. If we have the most conversations that we can possibly have, we're going to yield the most closings and reach that full potential. It's simple math. So, 8 o'clock, organize your day. 8:30, who are we calling? 9 to 12, on the phone. 12 o'clock, lunch. After that, I don't care. After that, we're doing marketing, we're doing admin, we're doing social media, we're doing SEO, we're doing websites, we're making videos, we're doing podcasts. I don't know what you're doing. Stay busy. You're showing property, you're going to listing appointments, going to closings, negotiating deals. I don't know. Stay busy. But once you do those calls, you can walk away from the day saying, I crushed it today, no matter what the results were from those calls. The 4 most important activities for a real estate agent that are at the very highest level of the hierarchy of activities. Negotiating deals. Showing property, going to listing appointments, and writing offers. Negotiating, showing, listing appointments, and writing offers. That's at the top. That's why we do everything. That's why you make calls, to get to one of those 4 things. All right? That's at the top, right? Level 1, level 1, level 2, just below that, level 2, level of importance here. Level 2, making calls. Level 3, everything else. So, when you're making your calls, and Tuesday, you got to show property in the morning, you can't push it off to the evening, and you got to skip that call session, that is okay. Why? Because it's more important than making calls. You can skip calls that day. The problem is, most of you will show, and that screws up your whole week, and now you just don't make calls at all the rest of the week. Get back on it the next day. If you got to stop a call session because you're negotiating a deal, a buyer calls you and says, I want to write an offer on this property. Yes, sir. Let me get off this call session real quick and write this offer. I'm going to stop everything I'm doing to write an offer or to show a property. Well, they're not pre-qualified, Ricky. I don't care. The more time I wasted on people, the more money I made. I ain't never had anybody get pre-approved or sign a buyer agency. Never. Understand this, guys. The problem is a lot of you are taking stuff in that level 3 and you're putting it above the calls. It's easy to do the negotiation, the write the offers, show the property. It's easy to do those 4. Yeah, we're going to do those. I know you guys are going to do those. But when it comes to this level 2 and level 3, that's where we're getting messed up. Get on a routine, guys. Now, for me, I'm not the smartest, most talented, strongest guy by all means, right? But I'm going to outwork you. I will outwork you. I will put you to shame in the work department because I'm not going to give up. We'll see who can go the longest. Maybe you do work harder than me. You're going to have to show me. And you're going to be tired afterwards. All right. I'll leave you guys with this and then I'll take a couple questions, okay? We only live once. But if you do it right, one time is plenty. All right? Every single one of you have everything it takes. You're all walking $1 million a year real estate agents. Every single one of you. The only question is, are you going to work hard and smart? Make some noise if you're going to work hard and smart. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. That's my time. I hope you got a lot out of it. I'll take a couple questions, and then I'll be over here to my left.
Got a question.
Ricky, where do we go to sign up for coaching?
There's this website. You guys can write this down. ZERO, ZeroToDiamond.com, guys. I mean, I didn't even sell my free coaching program, okay? I'm up here in flip-flops. Nobody has any questions? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Or do we have a mic for her?
Here we go. When did you decide to start focusing more on your client's needs rather than the script, as you put it?
And that's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people, when they hear my game plan, it's a lot different than what they've been programmed to do. A lot of people have been programmed for this high pressure, approach. And so it's tough to try to reprogram yourself to that. And I'll be very honest, you can't just cold turkey. And I always say too, guys, 95% low pressure, 5% high pressure. I'm gonna sell them. I'm just picking my spot, right? And I'm looking for that opportunity to see what I can do to help them, and bam. It's 95%. It's not 100% low pressure, understand. But when you switch your game plan from high pressure to low pressure and you say, yeah, he's really onto something. I think this zero to diamond thing is the next deal. You can't just cold turkey. For me, it was 50-50. It was like 50% of me was trying to still close the deal because it's hard to let go, right? We got to pay our bills. Like, I got to make some money. I need to sell something. And you've been programmed to sell. And so I had to do 50-50 for a while. And then eventually I was like, I like selling this way better than this way. And so I went 75-25 for a little bit. And I'm all the way down to a 95-5. And listen, I'm not even to my full peak because you know what? At 100 is where when you stop doing what you're doing for money, you become really happy and really wealthy. I promise you, when you quit doing what you're doing for money, when you quit focusing on the money, I promise you, you get really happy and you get really wealthy.
What's going on, Ricky?
Hey, what's
Nick
up,
Lucas.
dude?
Is this working? Yeah. Okay, cool. It's weird when you hear yourself like over the speakers. So you said there was that one stretch of time where you read 100 books, right? And I'm kind of in that stretch right now. 22 years old, just graduated college, whatever, from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Shout out to these guys. They made the drive with us last night. But my question for you, with the mindset, because those are kind of the books that I'm focusing on right now. What is a book? Because I'm listening to a book, basically a book a week. What is a book on your mindset, because obviously it's relationships over basically money is exactly what you've been saying. So, like, what type of books kind of helped you with that?
Have you read The Slight Edge? Greatest book I ever read. The only book I ever read twice, cover to cover, and you will not be able to listen to it. I don't believe it is on Audible or on an audio book that I know of. I hadn't been able to find it. What was that one called? The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. The most incredible book you're ever going to read. Got one more. Time for one more.
The IRS is terrible.
What's that?
The IRS is terrible.
Okay.
So as self-employed, independent contractors, we get bludgeoned every year through the IRS through taxes.
Yeah.
As you make more, you pay more. What are some tax strategies that you have found fruitful in keeping more of what you make?
Having an LLC and having an S corp, having an S corporation is a really good way to. You can save a lot of money that way on Social Security taxes. But at the end of the day, you can run, but you can't hide, right? They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Listen, I love living in this country. I love America. I love our infrastructure. I love everything about it. I love the fact that we can get together like this. Our taxes, believe it or not, pay for the opportunities that we have. There's a part of it where it's like, I don't want to pay taxes. There's also a part of it to realize what it stands for, right? But no, I think having an S corp is probably one of the best ways that I've lowered my tax liability. Do you have an S corp? Make it an S corp. You do? Yeah, so you're saving on Social Security taxes there. Listen, you mean tell you the real secret? Make more money.
So good. So good. All right, let's give it up to another big round of applause to Ricky Carruth and the Diamond
Yay!
I love that. This is amazing. Fabulous.